My presentation and what we're doing in Tacoma is actually going to build really well on what Abby Stockwell and Andy Room talked about earlier. And so I was part of the committee that did Building Cities in the Rain. And so what Tacoma is actually doing is taking that document and the draft document from Ecology on stormwater controls out of basin, and we're actually starting to implement it within Tacoma. So, and that's what this presentation is going to be about. So just a little bit of background to Tacoma, and I always tease all my friends from Seattle that in Tacoma are like, boo-hoo, little Tacoma, you know, we don't have the economy that Seattle has, or Redmond or anything, and our income's a little bit less, our unemployment's a little bit higher, and our rental space is a little cheap. So developers don't want to develop in Tacoma. They rather go other places. And then in Tacoma with the phase 1, we have development and redevelopment regulations. You know, other people don't have that, so developers want to go other places than Tacoma. So in Tacoma, we really needed something to support development and redevelopment in our ultra-urban areas. So, little background on Tacoma. We're 50 square miles. The big blue area there in the middle is Commencement Bay of Puget Sound. And we have the Puyallup River running through, we're the mouth of the Puyallup River. So we don't really have any major creeks. Puyallup River's there, and we have Leech Creek and Fleck Creek were kind of the headwaters of those two creeks. So 72% of our area drains to marine waters. And out of that, 46% of our landscape is impervious. We are an ultra-urban area. We've been around for over 100 years, and we don't have much development anymore. It's mainly redevelopment. Major issues that we have in Tacoma is we have a Superfund site. Theophos Waterway is a Superfund site. We spent $105 million to remediate the sediment there. We need to protect it. We need to protect it from spills. We need to protect it from activities. And we also have flood-prone areas where we are the headwaters of two creeks, and all of our drainage for those creeks go to one holding basin before it discharges to the creeks. And so those areas are very flat, and they don't have very much slope, so there are some flooding problems, so we need some flood control in those areas. So the vision for what we're doing is we are trying to build treatment and flow control facilities for our developers and for us as we build on our roads and stuff. And what we want to do is large regional facilities, and with these large regional facilities, our vision is that we get the economy of scale and we get the best unit price for us and for developers. And by using regional locations, we can actually get improvement faster than if we chase developers around to where they're building. And we have a guarantee on operation and maintenance. If you build all these little teeny stormwater filters all over, the mom and pop place that has this storm filter there, by the time they have the third and fourth employee come in, they don't know it's there. They don't know that they need to maintain it. Where if we build it, we know it's there, we can maintain it, and it's cheaper for us to maintain one large facility than for 20 people to maintain 20 little facilities. And so we're going to develop these regional systems, and we're going to create capacity. And this capacity becomes a credit that we can sell to our developers. And this decreases uncertainties with our permitting process. The developer can come in, they know they can buy into these, and they don't have to build on their site for these things. We also can pass off the best price. It's a lot cheaper for us to build it and maintain it than it is for them to maintain and build a small facility. And this will also help promote redevelopment and jobs in Tacoma. And once we get this system up and running, we can use the money that we gain from selling these credits to build our next targeted BMP. So the thing I really want to stress, though, is economy of scale. If we build these larger systems, that they are cheaper for us to build than to build 100 little small facilities, and the O&M savings that we have is tremendous. Here's an example of why we want to do regional facilities. This is a map that shows these are sediment traps that we collect in Theophos Waterway. And basically, we take these sediment traps and we analyze them for pollutants. And the red area shows that these are pollutants that were extremely high compared to all the other areas. So we had a source of pollutants there and we didn't know what it was. So if we go after building these large regional facilities, we can target these facilities where we know that they're going to control sources. We can target these facilities for commercial areas, we can target for industrial areas. So we remove the most pollutants per area than we can anywhere else. So it's better for us to build these and locate these as sensitive areas. Our current requirements are Tacoma is a phase 1, so we have the phase 1 permit. And under that permit, we have a stormwater management manual. And in our stormwater management manual, it has the minimum requirements that we have to do for flow control and we have to do for treatment. And this is what right now the minimum requirements are what the developers have to do on our landscape when they're building a site. So what we have done is for regional flow reduction, currently we have the on-site LED standards and detention ponds, which the developers take on. But what we want to do is we want to take that on through, we're converting impermeable surfaces to permeable surfaces. We're going to expand holding basins to increase capacity, and then we're going to sell that capacity for flow control to promote development. And for regional stormwater treatment, currently it's the on-site development and redevelopment requirements. We're going to take the burden of those requirements and we're going to leverage regional treatment capacity to support development and redevelopment. And we're going to collect developers' money to build subsequent facilities. So here's an example of our first flow control facility. So we have Leech Creek and Fleck Creek basins, and they are headwaters of creeks. And we have limited downstream capacity, and in these areas, you have to do flow control, meet the minimum requirements back to forested conditions. And the stars on there show where we have regional facilities currently in those basins. So what we've done to one of our basins is we got a $3 million grant from Department of Ecology, and we used that grant to increase the detention capacity by 30 acre-feet. And since we increased that capacity, we could sell that increase to developers and take that money to fund the next facility expansion. For treatment, right now we're going to currently focus on Theophos Waterway, which is in yellow, and we're going to focus on the Lower Puyallup Waterway. And the stars there show the regional facilities that we have for those two basins. And some examples of the regional facilities that we have built is we have a media canister vault, and it's actually 226 canisters, and it treats 50 acres. It cost $800,000 to construct. And then the second one there with the plants in it is a enhanced treatment, and it has a Filterra media in it. It treats 42 acres, and it costs $1.5 million in construction cost. So what we're doing now is we're taking these facilities and we're analyzing the capacity that we have to sell, and we're creating the credit that we have to sell. And I am using the analysis that I'm doing for this, I'm using the Draft Ecology Stormwater Control Transfer Program. They have outlined what you do for different types of facilities and how you develop this credit. So basically for a new facility that size for the entire basin, if you can use that 100% of that basin to sell to create your credit. But if you have a new facility that only is, a lot of places that we put facilities, it's just where we have space. So we can't design it for the full basin, but we can design it for a portion of the basin. So if it's smaller than the true basin, then you have to figure out what the equivalent contributing area is, and you can sell that equivalent area as your credit. The other thing that we did is you can increase the size of an existing facility, And the only thing that you can sell for your in lieu of program is your increased capacity. You can't go ahead and sell the whole capacity. You can only sell the delta that you've created for that capacity. Oops, wrong button. So we've developed 2 charges through our program. We have a system development charge and we have a maintenance surcharge. Now, as these facilities come online and we start selling them, we codify these costs for these facilities. The system development charge is a one-time charge that's used for capital cost and property acquisition. This charge is basically the construction cost for the regional facility or for a group of facilities in a watershed, and it's converted or normalized to a unit cost for the aggregate square footage of the capacity credit. So basically it's dollars per square foot. And then the maintenance surcharge is going to be either an annual or monthly surcharge. We'll only use for maintenance activities. But we only may have this maintenance charge if the activity that we did has increased the maintenance that we're doing at that facility. The one facility that we have right now, the gravel pit, where we actually dug it out and created the additional 30 acre feet, our maintenance activity didn't change with that. So at that facility, we do not have a maintenance surcharge because every 10 years, we're still going to go back in and dig it out. It's not changing our activities at all. But for the storm filter vault that we built, we have to maintain the storm filter vault, and that's new. We never had that before. So for that one, we are going to have a maintenance surcharge. So before we did this program in place, we actually looked at the cost benefit of participants within the program. So what I have here is I have representative sites. We looked at what a typical small commercial site has to do for development and redevelopment, what a small residential plat has to do, what a large residential plat, and what a large commercial industrial area site has to build on their site to meet minimum requirement number 6 and minimum requirement number 7, the flow control and treatment. And then what the cost of it for our facilities that we have built. So the top graph there is for treatment. And on the treatment, our cost, dollars per square foot, was 35 cents to $1. Now, if a developer went in, they would pay $6, $3, $1.40, but a large residential plat, it's $1. So it's a wash for them. So basically, we save them a lot of money, and they don't have to give up land space to build these facilities on their site. And the maintenance cost was a great savings too. For them, maintenance was 37 cents for very dollars per square foot per year for a small commercial site, and then 6 or 7 cents. And for us, it was less than a penny for us to do the O&M on the facility. So that is a great savings on them, and they don't have to remember to maintain it and operate it. And then down below, flow control on the bottom line there is our one facility that we have that we're selling right now is the gravel pit regional flow control facility, and that has been codified, and we are selling that for 97 cents per square foot of mitigated area. And if they had to build flow control on site, again, $6, $2, $1, $1.50. So we're actually saving them money for us to build it for them. And the one thing I do want to say about the whole program is we are building it for them, but they still have to go through the process, and they still have to meet all the other minimum requirements that are in the manual. We are not taking the burden on. We are making sure that all minimum requirements that we're required to meet on our permit are still going to be met. We are only picking up minimum requirement number 6 and minimum requirement number 7 from the developer. They still have to meet all the other minimum requirements for development and redevelopment. So, I'm almost done here. It was really fast. So the great thing about a regional facility program is we can target these facilities to our most sensitive watersheds and receiving waters. Right now, we only develop or redevelop a handful of sites per year in Tacoma. And that's not going to get us anywhere. We're not going to be able to remove the pollutants and reduce our pollutant loading at that pace. So by doing this, we get a huge bang for our buck in the beginning, and we truly make a dent in the pollutant loading within the city. And we can enjoy the economy of scale. It's cheaper for us to build it, and we can sell it to them, and it helps them with building on their site. And they can get, they can use more of their site where before they lost a lot of area for putting in their big detention ponds. And we can be organized and construct to support the development through this pay in lieu of, and then we can use those dollars to continue our program and to build more. So we're hoping that we can build 1 facility per year in Tacoma to really get ahead of our water quality and our flow control problems. So actually, that's that. Questions?